Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink. I thought it would be useful for an update. It's been a few weeks. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the sale on the premium list that should be ending in just a couple hours or so. You can find a link to that in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So Link is one of my favorite projects. Okay, it generally stands the test of time. It just generally moves up. There are bearish times, of course, right? Of course, there are bearish times, but it does generally move up, which is why I like it so much. I don't like necessarily chasing projects that pump one weekend or something. I want to stick with projects that stand the test of time. And you know, it's been one hell of a journey for sure. I mean, over here we had to move up to around $1, a little over $1, and then back down to 16 cents, and then back up to $4. This was a pretty crazy move because it took us a little while to get back above it, and we got rejected back down again, which, you know, sort of looked like a double top here. But Link was able to pick itself up by its bootstraps and continue higher. And then a lot of people, of course, remember this move up to around $20. The rejection back to our 20-week SMA or our 21-week EMA, our bull market support band. We had a crazy wick over here. We watched this live on stream. It was somewhat scary to see the entire altcoin market go down that quickly, but it rebounded relatively quickly, and then Link went on to put in new highs and pulled back for a little bit, and then continued to put in new all-time highs after that. And so the current all-time high on Link is around $54 or so, just shy of $55. Now, we've had a pretty big pullback, and this is what we were always discussing. Well, you know, a lot of our analysis on any altcoin is always contingent on Bitcoin staying above the 20-week. When Bitcoin goes below the 20-week, the game changes, right? We know the game changes when Bitcoin's below the 20-week SMA, and you know, you can see that this pullback on May 17th for Link, for Bitcoin on May 17th, if we go to that candle, you can see we were dropping well below our bull market support band. And here Link was dropping through it as well. Okay, so this is not necessarily surprising when we expect when Bitcoin is below the 20-week SMA, or when it has that fall below the 20-week SMA, a lot of altcoins can have nasty pullbacks. Even Link, they can have nasty pullbacks because they have knee-jerk reactions to Bitcoin pulling back. Now, with that said, Chainlink tends to generally move up against Bitcoin. Okay, it generally moves up. We've had, you know, some fairly significant bubbles over the last several years of the Link Bitcoin valuation. Okay, so we had a lot of these little mini bubbles against Bitcoin. We had this one that took us all the way up here, close to, I think it was 170,000 Satoshis, something like that, around 170,000 Satoshis or so. But then we've entered a phase in the market where, you know, Bitcoin is just completely taking over, and it's so volatile. And remember, Link does not like Bitcoin volatility. Link likes Bitcoin to not be volatile, okay? And recently, Bitcoin has been relatively volatile. I mean, it moved from $10,000 up to $64,000, back down to $30,000. Now we're at $39,000. We were flirting with $40K earlier. The Bitcoin volatility remains, and whenever this volatility calms down, I think that Link can start to pick back up. But until that happens, I think we just kind of have to wait for a while. Okay. If you look at the bull market support band for Link against the US dollar, we have been below it before, okay? I mean, there's been several times where we have fallen slightly below it. Right now, it ranges, for the record, if you want to know, it ranges from around $28 up to around $31, and currently the price of Link is all the way down at $23. So, you know, the last time we had a sustained move below the bull market support band was back in March of 2020. We had another one in the end of 2019, in September of 2019, and then before that, in December of 2018. So we have not really spent that much time below it, but in fact, we have spent various phases going below our bull market support band. But the nice thing with Link is that even in the bear market, it was able to systematically move up against Bitcoin. Now, this is an interesting trend line, which we have shown, I think, at least a couple times before. This general support that we've had against Bitcoin has now seemingly turned into a resistance level. If we go look at the bull market support band on the Link Bitcoin valuation, you can see that we're currently below the bull market support band, which again, so that means it's slightly bearish against Bitcoin right now. Against Ethereum, it also remains bearish. It's well below the 20-week SMA. And I mean, you can see that we would need to rally like 47% just for the Link Ether valuation to get back to the bull market support band. You know, we've discussed this idea of Link getting slowly back on track with Bitcoin, okay? Going, you know, a reversion to the mean, if you will. And I said that, you know, there's a decent chance that this plays out over a long period of time. It does not necessarily get back on track immediately. And of course, you can redraw this to make it look a little bit nicer if you want. But regardless, we said don't expect it necessarily to get back on track immediately. It could take a little while before it does. And you can see, I mean, it's not getting back on track immediately. The Link Ether valuation could be doing something similar. These are linear scales, by the way, where it's just sort of slowly, really slowly getting back on track. But we haven't quite gotten there yet. Okay, now I do remain bullish on Link. I think we will go higher than $55 this cycle. You know, one question is, well, will we do it this summer? I think it depends. I think it depends on what Bitcoin does. You know, if Bitcoin's above the 20-week, then I think certainly possible. Okay, if you go look at the 3 times that Link has had ridiculous moves, it was in January of 2018, in July of 2019, and then in August of 2020, and then here in May of 2021. These were probably the most significant moves by Link. But we know all 4 of these times, Bitcoin was above the bull market support band. It was above it in January of 2018, in July of 2019. Let's go look at July of 2019. You can see that Bitcoin was above its 20-week moving average. If you go look at August of 2020, you can see that Bitcoin was above its 20-week moving average. And then if you go look at like April and then early May, Bitcoin again was above its 20-week moving average. So all 4 major Link USD moves occurred when Bitcoin was above its 20-week moving average. But a lot of times they occur when Bitcoin's not doing anything substantial. I mean, remember, Link went to $20 when Bitcoin was over here, and it was just slightly above the bull market support band. Link went to that, you know, had that crazy run in 2018, at the very beginning of 2018, after Bitcoin had put in its market cycle top. Okay, Link also had a fairly nice run over here when Bitcoin was just above the 20-week SMA, but well below the prior all-time high. So right now, Bitcoin remains relatively volatile. And I think that in order for Link to have significant moves against the US dollar, we would likely want to see Bitcoin above the 20-week. Could it happen where Bitcoin's not above the 20-week? Of course it could. I mean, Link can always throw his curveballs. We know that it generally increases against Bitcoin over the macro scale, no matter what's going on. I mean, yes, this has been a pretty big pullback, but it still seems like the general trend is mostly up. So I think that when we think about, well, what is Link going to do? I think that probably need to have some patience. Recognize that it's likely not going to put in new all-time highs against the US dollar if Bitcoin remains super volatile and if Bitcoin remains below the 20-week SMA. So I think that's where we currently stand right now. Obviously, there's certainly time for Bitcoin to get above the 20-week SMA. Right now, the 20-week SMA is around just over $49,000. So maybe if we get above that, then maybe Link can go on a pretty substantial move if Bitcoin's not immediately flirting with new all-time highs. But that's generally where I think we are with the market right now. I just wanted to give you guys an update because a lot of people were asking for an update on the Link valuation against the US dollar, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Unfortunately, we remain somewhat bearish on Ethereum. The Link of Ether valuation, you can see that's continuing to bleed. Link Bitcoin has been flirting with the bull market support band. I mean, Link does tend to hold up relatively well when Bitcoin's bearish, and it's doing that right now. A lot of altcoins are down substantially. Link is holding up relatively well. Okay, it's holding up relatively well compared to a lot of cryptocurrencies. The Link USD valuation is obviously below the bull market support band. We know we can get back above it if Bitcoin remains bullish, and if Bitcoin gets above the 20-week SMA, then I think maybe Link can put a new all-time highs against the US dollar. That's generally what I think about Link right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the sale on the premium list. You can find a link to that in the description below as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.